I must admit, to be fair to you, you said to me yesterday, I don't know if you recall this, Cardiff will go to Birmingham and win.
I did.
And I honestly didn't know why he said that. I thought Birmingham last night would get a win that would ease the pressure on them, but they haven't. They lost to Cardiff by a single goal to nil at St Andrews, and that now has deepened their problems, deepened their woes, if you like, because they're in trouble. Whichever way you look at it, Birmingham City are in trouble. And of course, historically, when they were sixth, they decided to call time on John Eustace. They brought in Wayne Rooney. That very definitely did not work. And now Gary Rowett is back in there. Gary Rowett, a guy we like immensely, but is in there on an interim basis. And even he, at the moment, can't stave off a defeat. Now, Birmingham lost to Cardiff 24 hours before that. The co-owner, Tom Wagner, decided to explain his vision for the football club, a new multi-purpose stadium, and to become the main team in England's second biggest city. St Andrews right now holds 30,000. They're looking to build not only a near 60,000 multi-purpose stadium, but a sports quarter that will house training facilities for men's, women's and academy teams as well. It'll have the lot, as Tom Wagner explained to our own Tom Ross.
You know, we're referring to it as a sports quarter because ultimately what we're developing is something that's more than just a stadium. The stadium's the center of it, it's the heart of it. But, you know, we'll incorporate men's and women's and academy training ground, so a full performance center there. We'll incorporate ideally office space, other entertainment options, hotels, so that it becomes a destination for people 365 days a year. That's the responsible thing to do for the community. It's a responsible thing to do for the club because all those revenues go into the club, and it's a responsible thing for us to do environmentally because we're creating a venue that's used more than just 30 days a year.
When you say entertainment, you're talking pop concerts, that sort of stuff?
Oh, all of that. I mean, I think if we're able to get everything that we want, we could have the world's largest concerts held in the venue. We could have the ability to host Euro matches, World Cup matches, NFL games. All of those things are in the sphere of our objectives and what we'd like to accomplish with respect to this development. And I think it's something that's worthy of pursuit because Birmingham sits at the center of England. Right, it'll be easily accessible following the completion of HS2 and coupled with the existing rail infrastructure. This will be a venue that will be easy for people to get to. And every part of our planning is focused on how we create a venue that is easy to get to, easy to enjoy when you're there, and then easy to go home from. Obviously, we have to think about it in the context of what's appropriate for our club and not just the club today or next year or 3 years from now, but what's appropriate for the club 20 years from now. And I think when we look at Birmingham City, you have a club that's the name team in England's second city. This should be a top 10 Premier League club. That's the size of the club. So what's the right size for a club of that scope and scale sitting in England's second city? I think it's a large venue.
I met Tom a few weeks ago, Simon, nice fella, in the Biltmore at a football finance seminar. On the same day I bumped into Josh Wander 777. Anyway, we'll get to that. A good guy with plenty of plans for the football club. Ambition off the pitch, the NFL, big concerts. I mean, surely that's pointless if you're not successful on the pitch.
Yes, of course. I mean, you have to get a bit of both. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having vision. There's nothing wrong with looking at the scenario of being in a part of the country where you are the second city. There's a lot of opportunity there, big population, big expectations. Birmingham City is one of those football clubs that when it's successful can pull upon a decent fan base. So I think all of these things are absolutely right, and that's what they should be thinking along the lines of. Right now, it trips them up because they're football. This is a longer-term project. If they get relegated from the Championship, right, it's not a disaster for them. It's just a step back. No, because they're going to have to put their hands in their pockets. The revenues between the Championship and League One are not as significant as you'd think that it would be in terms of what you can attract, because ultimately you only get about £4 million, £5 million more from the broadcasting deals in the Championship.
Simon, come on, relegated in your first year of ownership.
No, it's
I know what you'd be like. You'd be climbing the walls.
No, I nearly did. We got out of relegation on the last game of the season. I spent lots of money, probably equivalent to about 30-40 million today on transfer fees to get to a cup semi-final against Liverpool, lose that, and then nearly get relegated and only avoid relegation by a goal in the 87th minute away to Stockport County to keep us in the division. So I know precisely what they're looking at and the reasons why they're looking at it, because they've made mistakes.
But he shouldn't be talking about eclipsing Villa at this precise time, should he?
Well, I mean, that's the association. He's basically saying that Birmingham is the second city. Their club should be pushing and punching their weight. They should be building facilities.
It should be. Yeah. But he's leaning with his chin with comments like that.
Well, of course he is, because ultimately the team is not successful on the field and they're being judged by these decisions. And when you finish it off with, look what we've done in the last 9 months, and the Birmingham City fans will say, yes, you've almost got us relegated. And they are right in it. There's a lot of twists and turns. And Birmingham and Huddersfield have got to play one another in the run-in. And both teams have games on the last game of the season that could be very meaningful. But Birmingham are playing Norwich, who are trying to get into the playoffs, and Huddersfield are playing Ipswich, who are trying to get promoted.
Simon, look at the messages. Sorry to interrupt you. As you speak, look at the messages coming in. I haven't even invited them. 8, 10, 89. No name on this one. Jim, Rooney got sacked on January the 2nd. There's been more than enough time to pick up points since then. We should have got ourselves there and then an experienced interim manager straight away when Tony Mowbray stepped down because of illness. Relegation has been a long time in coming, and it's probably deserved.
Well, relegation may well have been a long time in coming because of the various ownership models post Sullivan and Gold and the decisions that were made by these ownerships. This new ownership have compounded the problem. They can't be judged for the sins of the past. They picked up some of the the bad decisions that were made, the overpayment of wages and the challenges that Birmingham have had for a few years, and also the absentee landlord of an owner that was sitting in a certain situation, not running it properly. We've had all these discussions with people like Ian Danter, but they can be responsible for the plight of the last 12 months. The decision to appoint Rooney was a bad football decision. They haven't pivoted of it and reacted quickly enough, and the results haven't come. And obviously they put Tony Mowbray in. Tony Mowbray was unwell. Gary Rowett's gone back in there. I still think they've probably got just enough in the tank to get themselves out of it. Huddersfield got smashed on 4-1 against Preston midweek. They're their immediate rivals. Plymouth can be dragged into it. Millwall can be dragged back into it. They're still, they probably need 49 points to stay up.
There's messages coming in. Birmingham City staging NFL games. Good luck with that. How about staying in the division? Dave's an Aston Villa fan. Birmingham City are a laughingstock. They'll never be anywhere near as big as Villa. Unbelievable. Always be our poor neighbours. Do English football clubs benefit from an American ambition?
I'm sorry, but I imagine there was a lot of Manchester United fans that laughed at Manchester City when they landed in League One. And it took a Paul Dickoff penalty to get them out of League One, and then you've got different ownership changes. If these guys have made mistakes, which they clearly have on the football field, and in conjunction with the management decisions they've made, that's why I keep on going on about Gary Cook and the decisions that he would have helped them make, because I do think it's preposterous that someone supposed to know the industry and know his way around has encouraged these guys that are learning their trade and learning the landscape to make football decisions. But their overall position, when I walked into Palace, I said similar things. That it was my ambition to put Palace in the Premier League within 5 years. It was my ambition to make them the third or fourth biggest club in London. And all of those at the time would have been listening to that going, oh yeah, really? Your club's been in administration for 18 months. You nearly got relegated last season.
Do you regret saying all that?
No, because I put them in the Premier League within 5 years. And you have to have ambitions, you have to have visions, you have to bring people with you.
But that was about it. I mean, we didn't have Tina Turner performing there on a regular basis.
But football's changed.
We didn't have NFL matches there.
But football's matured because it is ridiculous. What other business would suggest, and football is now a business, that you have a stadium that opens once every 2 weeks and you do nothing else with it besides pay bills on it?
No, I get that. But I mean, the clues on the wall outside Birmingham City Football Club, they've got to be seen to be a successful football club before any of the other stuff can start coming into play.
Absolutely right. But sometimes in life, tragically, things don't play out the way you want them to, and sometimes you have to take one step back to take 2 steps forward. Nobody wants to do that, and I'm not advocating that's the blueprint you should follow. Right now, Birmingham are on the field making their owners look foolish because their owners have made foolish decisions.
Right.
Now, whether their owners are going to abdicate responsibility or whether they're going to go, right, whatever comes our way, which I think they're probably will do, is we will be the ones that have to bankroll this. We will be the ones that have to bridge the gap for our own decisions. And I'm sorry, fans, we've let you down because the team isn't performing the way we thought it should do. And we made decisions based upon autograph hunting for Wayne Rooney. But you've got to move past just the micromanagement and low-level thinking of it's just the appointment of Wayne Rooney. And look at what they will build there in the end.
I get it. Do you know what? There are a few Birmingham fans going with you. Big Tony, I don't know what little Tony's doing this morning, but Big Tony in Birmingham says, I'm not worried about Birmingham going down. It's been coming for years. The club needs a complete reset. They mean business. The only way is up from this point onwards. Manchester City went down, as Simon says, to the League One 25 years ago. Look at them now. Keep right on, says Big Tony. in Birmingham this morning. If you're a Birmingham fan, do you share the same view? Are you optimistic that, all right, it's a kick in the teeth at the moment, they might drop down to League One, but they'll be back? Or do you think, no, hang on, League One next season? That would be a disaster. 03717 223344 81089.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.